Welcome to the Black Delegates podcast. Today's date is October the 22nd, 2018. We are on episode 37. So, let's see. So, announcements, feedback, and or shade. Last week, Ishmael, you told us that your mama would possibly have some smoke. Did she actually come back and say what her smoke was?
She alluded to it a little bit, but she is going to be sending in a letter. An email.
By paper?
I encouraged her. I said, send an email and we'll, kind of discuss your grievances. Good. Have not gotten that email yet. So once it comes, then we can definitely talk about it. But nothing this week. Okay,
that mug about to be long.
Moms just know how to do this, don't they? They know how to like make you feel nervous and just put that sense of dread in you, like I'm not gonna whoop you in the store, but when we get home, I'm gonna get that whooping. But before we go home, we're gonna go like get ice cream and just go do a couple other errands, and you're gonna feel good about yourself. But then you're gonna dread that whole ride home because that belt's coming, and that's how this feels right here. That letter is that belt.
Right, that beat down's coming.
That's right.
She got us straight sitting on it. All right, well, I don't have any other announcements or feedback. Did we get anything on IG?
Just some everyday little comments on posts here and there, but nothing too noteworthy. But
just a podcast that we shall not speak of until our name is heard on their podcast. Yes.
Not at all. Just in general. I don't necessarily make note of every comment unless it's something that we need to talk about or a question or something like that. But appreciate everybody with the likes, shares, and comments on IG and on Twitter.
Yes, very appreciated. And if anybody else would like to send us feedback so we have something to read next week or rate us, where can they find us, Ishmael?
Find us on Twitter and IG at Black Delegates. There's an underscore between Black and Delegates. We're also on Facebook at Black Delegates Pod, or you can hit us up on Gmail with any questions, feedback, advice, cash app, funding, right?
Podbean is not free, accounts. Y'all. Yeah, Podbean is not free. I do pay for this podcast on a monthly basis, so anything you can do to help, we would appreciate it.
Right, and that is at the Black Delegates Pod at gmail.com.
That's right. All right, so let's move directly into this week in Blackness. I am going to start us off.
What?
I'm going to start us off. Let's see. I didn't think of an actor. Usually have a little bit more time to think about it, but this just happened. As y'all know, I recently lost my mechanic. Rest in peace, Joe. Not to death, but to the man.
Don't say rest in peace.
Not to death, but to the man. To the man. He went and got a real job with benefits and vacation time. No weekend hours. So I have therefore needed a few things done on my vehicles, and I just been sitting and waiting on the Lord. And guess what happened? My wife and I were standing in the garage one day, and we saw a U-Haul truck pull in across the street. And then behind it was a truck. And that truck back window said, mobile mechanic, with a phone number on the back. I've been watching this brother here for 60 to 90 days while he's been fixing on other people's cars. Nobody has come and shot him or asked for their money or beat him up. Everybody looks like they get their car fixed. They come back and get it. They roll out. No beefs. So I was like, all right, I think it's my time to make a move. Called the number, told him I needed some work done. He hollered back at me, got the work done tonight. I got off work. He was like, hit him up when I got home. 6:15, wife pulled in, called him. He was like, all right, pull it over. Went right across the street, pulled it in, sat down, ate dinner. My brother was done before I was done eating. Drove it around the block, sped around a little bit. Sounds good. So look at God preparing my way. Anything I need, he got me. So I got a new mechanic. So,
that's what's up. I thought you was gonna say you got a new wrench set and you was gonna get to it yourself.
Nah, dog. No, some things you pay people to do.
Now, does he have them crackhead prices like Joe did?
Yo, it was a cheap price, man. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. Didn't even blink at it. I didn't even think about it. I was just like, okay, when can we get this done?
And front door service, that's not bad.
Heck yeah, right across the street service. Only thing could have been better is if he was like, I'll come over there and pull the car over myself. He did make me pull the car into his garage, but other than
the
that.
nerve.
Right.
The nerve of him.
Right. So, if you need anything, I'll get a couple more things done, and if he good-ish, I can spread the word. I know your cars is pretty new right now, so when you get a chance, if you needed him, I got his number.
Right. That's what's up.
So who else? Who want to go next? I'm going to let y'all volunteer. Nobody.
You pick it, man.
I said I'm going to let you volunteer.
Okay, I'll volunteer. I ain't got nothing to say because my week was Luke Cage. My week was Luke Cage Black because I was canceled this week.
Canceled.
There. I didn't do anything, man. It was just a cool week. I voted early, so make sure, everybody out there, if you listen to this, seriously, go vote, man. It took me like 15 minutes. It was straight. How come everybody in the polling that volunteers at the polling station is like 1,000 years old? Like literally, there's no one under 40 that I've ever seen at the polling station.
Everybody else got to work, man.
I feel you, man. But man, also one thing with the voting, like when y'all pull up to the voting stations, there are like people that stand outside. Like sometimes there's candidates, local office candidates stand outside, or just like the local like Democratic, Republican, party dude hand out. Man, them people, you got to have a lot of courage to be standing out there handing those little flyers, man, because it's like there was a dude with like a Democratic shirt and then like 2 or 3 like Republican people, because obviously I live in the suburbs, but they be handing those little things and they'd be looking so unsure, like, do you want to take this? I'm sure people just take this stuff and like throw it back in their face all day long. You just gotta sit there and do it all day long. Be like, man, there's no way I can sign for that job, dog. It's just too much, man. But anyway, voted. And yeah, man, just watch a lot of sports, man. This is the best time for sports, man. I know y'all don't watch football. Football's been great. Baseball, I know y'all don't watch baseball because y'all black. Baseball's been great. I know you don't watch football because you're black. I know you don't watch baseball because y'all black. And we got basketball back, and I know y'all watch that because y'all black.
Oh, yeah.
and basketball been great. Do we want to talk about any basketball stuff real quick?
We got it. Yeah, we got it on the agenda, so we'll get to it.
Okay.
So what about you, Ishmael? How was your week in blackness?
Well, mine, it has to deal a little bit with basketball. And as I was sitting here thinking about my week in blackness, and I felt there was something else that I needed to talk about during this time. So I'm going to sort of bypass my week in blackness a little bit. It's going to be included.
Okay.
But I have an announcement, and this is a big, important announcement.
This dude finna quit the show.
I thought about reaching out to the people at ESPN, thought about reaching out to CNN, or just reaching out to the big networks, because I know they're salivating for this news. They're salivating for this announcement. And I said no. I said, you know what? This is going to be a Black Delegates podcast exclusive.
Okay.
He's going to the G League.
Exclusive. So my announcement is that by the end of 2019, I'm going to retire from the game of basketball. I'm going to hang them up, man.
By 2019. Okay. So we got
not by the end of this year. By the end of next year, I'm going to have to walk away from the game.
Wow.
As a player. I might go into coaching. I might go into, mentoring. I'm going to have to walk away from the game. And the reason is because right now, I got a cast on my left arm.
What?
I got a fractured wrist.
Oh.
And so I'm out of the game for 4 weeks.
How'd you get it now? This was from some exotic white sport you did? What happened now?
This is not, and this is an interesting thing. So I thought that the way it happened, it was a couple of weeks ago. I was playing basketball, and this is pretty whack, but I'm boxing this dude out. It's a big dude. He's trying to get around me. I kind of hooked him with my arms, put my wrist back, and I just felt this sharp pain kind of run through my hand. And so my hand and my wrist were hurting, but it kind of, it's only if I bent it a certain way or if it touched a certain part of my hand. So I kept played the next couple of weeks. I finally went to the doctor because it just wouldn't go away. and found out I have a fracture, a hamate fracture. But when I told the doctor how it happened, he was like, "Oh no, that's not what happened." He said, "That's an impact injury." He's like, "You had to fall or you had to bang it against something." Or he's like, "There was some impact. Boxing out wouldn't cause this injury." So I was relieved in a sense because explaining to people that I was boxing out somebody and broke my wrist is pretty whack.
Right.
But now I don't know exactly when it happened.
So which one is worse? A phantom injury from being old?
Well, it wasn't a phantom. I mean, something happened. I just don't remember what. But I'd rather have it that way.
Situation.
Right.
Get off the couch, reaching for a bag of Cheetos, dislocate the entire.
What really happened was he was doing push-ups on his knuckles like Kevin Love and broke his wrist.
Oh man,
no, I'd rather not know because then I can just make up something like, oh well, when I tried to dunk on that dude the other week, I probably hit the rim too hard and I just fractured my whole stuff or something like that.
No, this is what you do when you go back to work. Have people at work seen this yet, Ish, or they seen the cast?
Yeah,
or what?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah, I got it Thursday.
But you didn't tell them a good story. You're supposed to come on like because everybody knows you do the exotic white sports. You'd be like, yeah, I tried a fight club last week. And I won, but I broke my ankle on this dude's my wrist on this dude's nose or whatever. Like that's what you got to do, man. You got to come with a good lie like that.
Right.
Oh man, I hope it don't hurt too bad, man.
No, it's not really in pain at all. But I figured, up until I was about 35, I never had any serious injuries, and since then I done broke my face. I done had Achilles tendonitis.
You broke your face. Hold on, I didn't never heard this one. Hold on.
He had a mask on for a minute, man.
Yep, and ended up just like
the first dude
ever
to be at the rec gym with a mask on.
Right, had the mask.
Nobody told me about this. I missed all this.
That was from hooping. That was some years ago. It was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. Just going for a loose ball with somebody. His head smashed into my face. Had broken face. So had sore Achilles. I had elbow surgery. Like all this in the past 5 or 6 years. So I'm just like, I guess that's a sign to hang them up. I can't hang them up immediately because I still, like I said, I got to dunk on somebody past 40. Mm-hmm. And I'm about to hit 40 in a couple of weeks. So I'm going to come back once the wrist is healed up. And the messed up thing is my other wrist, my shooting wrist has been kind of messed up for a while. And so the doctor told me, well, once we get this cast off the left one, we're going to do an MRI on the right one. So I'm like, let me get the wrist healed up. Let me get couple more months after that, maybe 6 months or, whatever, maybe a year at max. And then after that, I'm going to shut it down.
I hear this is going to be like a Kobe Bryant-esque year-long
exactly.
involved.
That's what exactly. Right now. Yeah, you got to go on the tour, man.
So what are you going to do? Last game? How many shots are you going to put up the last game?
Every shot. Every time I touch it, I'm shooting.
That's no change from the first time you put up basketball.
Exactly.
This dude has shot more shots than anybody in NBA history.
I know you're not talking right.
No, I'm serious. Ishmael never passed the ball. He didn't start passing until I started getting on him about passing. And then he was like, all right, I guess I should drop a couple dimes.
Hey, Ish, you bad if Ryan talking about pass because, I never saw Ryan pass once, ever.
And when I was in Memphis, I didn't have to pass no more because I was cold.
Ryan wouldn't even pass on NBA Live. Ryan don't pass on NBA Live. He just codes every single time. He don't even know what a pass is.
Right.
All right. So what's up, man?
I'll be old and stagnant like y'all very soon, man.
Hey, look, man. Your body's.
Ago it's been since I retired, and I ain't gonna even lie, man. The other day, literally in the last couple of weeks, I was like, man, I miss playing basketball. And I ain't said that in a long time, but it was just that feeling just welled up, and I was like, man, I want to go hoop, but nope, ain't no gyms coming to me.
Hey, if you look on the bright side, man, you've had a good run, man. You've already lasted longer and you've been proven more durable than the entire Porter family for the University of Missouri.
Exactly. Right.
So you good to go, man.
Yep. So we'll have to do something else, find another way to get that competitive edge going. But it is what it is. That's where I'm at right now. So we'll see. But 2019, I think that's going to be the last year of me playing basketball.
Hanging them up. Sad to see.
Sorry to hear that, Ishmael. But we're going to move on.
Ryan with these transitions, man. They're so true.
Yeah. Let's move on into white collar crimes.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
White collar crimes. Paul, this is yours. It is titled Gardening While Black.
Yeah, man. It's short, man. You really would just check the link if you follow us on Instagram or Twitter. But yeah, basically a dude in Detroit. He was, Detroit's got a lot of basically vacant areas all around the city. They've done a lot of tear downs. Just vacant houses and stuff like that. So, dude was basically trying to help on a community garden. And so he was planting some seeds out there, trying to grow some plants and some vegetables and things like that. And I think he also had taken some trees and painted. There were a few trees in the lot where he was doing this, and so he painted them the bottom of the bark,
trunk.
The trunk. Was it black, red, and green?
Yeah, red, black, and green.
Yeah, the African, I don't know, unity colors or something like that. So he painted it like that. So there were some neighbors, white neighbors nearby. I guess 3 ladies came out and kind of, bothered him, blah, 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 harassed him a little bit, then called the cops on him and kind of said oh, he's out here, he's a sexual predator, he's on the predator list or whatever like that, things like that. So anyway, I guess it didn't turn out to be true, but this kind of became a little story. Just while the dude's gardening, man. So I thought, what y'all want to think about this? Or this? There was no good name for this. That was the only thing. There was no gardening grandma or gardening Gertrude. They should have came with something like that, but nothing here.
No. Well,
yeah,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say there's no name because we never saw the women. We didn't get that iconic white collar crime photo of them holding the phone.
Right.
So that's why this story probably hasn't gone uber viral. But nonetheless, it is the same type of egregious act of calling the police on a black man who's doing nothing. And so, Ryan, I'll let you go and I'll jump back in later.
I'm going to say that it was more so about the red, black, and green on those trees. I guarantee it.
I think so too.
Because that's even more than blackness itself. It's more than your skin color. That's like a power black. And they definitely don't want to see that. So, yeah, man, it's sad. I mean, you would think that if somebody was doing anything positive in Detroit from all the stories that we hear, that people would be able to celebrate them, maybe go out and help them. Because anytime a white person does that anywhere in the nation, they get a news story about it. So this brother, he just gets a phone call to the cops. But we know how that is.
Well, the thing is that, according to that story, the guy said that these women called the cops on him just a bunch of times, pretty much any time they saw him. So I think they had been calling the police on him
before that
already. And then he decided to paint the trees just kind of as a moment of resistance, just saying, look, I'm black. I'm proud. I'm not leaving this area. So they were harassing him well before he painted the trees. And I think that was just his response to it. Because they said they've been calling the police on him for 6 months or something like that.
Wow.
The brother just out here in this urban garden, which he has the right to use. They had the video, the police up here, frisking him. They patting him down. They doing all this. They arrested him. Of course, he ended up being acquitted, but it's just ridiculous. I don't even know. At least he was taken to jail, I believe, but I think he got released. So
okay.
It was just the false allegations that they gave, and the thing is now, and the names are out there. Let me read their names. Put them on blast. Deborah Nash, Jennifer Morse, and Martha Callahan are the women, and so. Of course, Black Twitter.
We'll have their pictures up real quick. Yeah.
All right. Black Twitter's trying to get them arrested for making false police reports. But the crazy thing is you rarely ever see that. You rarely see, really, unless the police actually shoot somebody and kill them, and it was off an erroneous call, you rarely ever see these people get charged with the crime, even though it is illegal to make false police reports.
Paul, as our undercover brother, what does the white delegation think of our African colors? When they see the red, black, and green, have you ever heard any of your white cohorts talk about what that means to them? Like, do they take offense to those colors? Like, is it like a swastika to them? Do they feel like we're trying to take over? What is it?
You know, I've never you don't really see them. You don't really see the red, black, and green out there that much. I mean, like, I only vaguely know. I don't even know like exactly what. Like, I mean, I'm guessing they represent certain countries, but I don't know like how it became like just kind of like the three colors for, I guess, you know, I don't know, Africanism. I don't know what you want to call it or whatever like that. I don't know how that became the representation, but you know, I don't think they have opinion at all. I'm sure most of them probably wouldn't even. I guess they would probably eventually recognize it, but it doesn't really stick out to me. It is wild. Like, not only did he do the trees, though, he also like laid out the ground for the garden, like in red.
I
black,
saw the
and green.
Red on the ground. Okay.
Yeah, it's like red mulch, then black dirt, and then the green, like, you know, seeds growing out. So it's kind of wild. He took a little bit of inventiveness to do that. I'm not saying it doesn't look like much yet because he's just starting it or whatever like that. But I mean, hey, I've been to Detroit, man. It's rough out there, man. A lot of those places torn down and stuff like that. You know, it's just weird, man. You drive through some of those areas and there's dilapidated houses, but then there's just, you know, empty vacant lots, and it's just kind of, it's like a jack-o'-lantern effect, right? You know, you usually go in a neighborhood, you see, you know, house. There you go, house. You know, three lots of no houses, and then another house, and then it's just like that. It's like, man, how is this sustainable, man? So anything positive in that neighborhood, I think is good.
Well, let me explain to you, Paul, where
Break
the
it down.
RBG flag came from.
Yep.
So, according to the Universal Negro Catechism, and this was published back in 1921, red is the color of blood which men must shed for their redemption and liberty.
Mm-hmm.
Black is the color of the noble and distinguished race to which we belong.
I figured out the black part. That was the
And
part I was
green is the color of the luxuriant vegetation of our motherland. So that's where that came from. It was really like
it's not green is for the money,
black
red is
people
for the
coming
honeys.
together back in the 20s to just rally around and create something that black people could stand for. Just all the Pan-African movement where they could all just come together and rally around something. So, but I disagree with you where you said white people really don't think anything about it. I think when they see that color, I mean, they're fearful. They think, oh, this is some black extremist. They think this is what's that gang? What is it, like Colombian gang that Trump is always talking about, MS-10 or something like
MS-13.
that. Yeah, MS-13. Yeah, when they see that Pan-African flag, they think, oh, this is the black MS-13. They're going to come and cut our heads off, and they're going to do all this. So I disagree that there's really no reaction. I think it just goes to the worst type of assumptions that you can have.
That's what I thought. I was just curious. Okay. All right. Looks like it's also connected with Marcus Garvey. Said he's unveiled it. Cool. All right. Now let's get into something else, which is a sign of blackness, which is basketball. That's my black flag. My black flag is the NBA logo.
the white dude on the logo.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You think he should be moved?
I don't, because I think it's a dope logo. But
Yeah,
it's just crazy that the NBA is like 80% black or 85 or whatever percent black.
Still holding on to that one white dude dribble.
Yeah.
But it's a cool logo. You're right. So I mean, it's one of the best logos ever created.
If they put some if they put some dreads on it or something like that, would it make
a fro? Put a fro on it?
No fro, man. Come on, that's racist.
Redo
Man.
it.
Come on, no fro, man. Just straight backs. That's all.
Let's put the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar skyhook.
Yeah. So all of us have been watching basketball.
Hell yeah.
I have been watching basketball every day, so I haven't watched nothing else. I'm 2 weeks behind on Walking Dead. I'm 2 weeks behind on all my shows. I ain't watched a million little things. None of the stuff we was watching before. I ain't watched none of it. So let's see. Where you want to start? Paul.
What's up?
No, I'm not gonna go with Paul. Ishmael. What game you want to talk about? You want to talk about the brawl? We want to talk about the brawl, or we want to talk about
basketball talk about the scrapping, man.
Let's
you
talk
gotta
about the
open the show with a good scrap.
All right. So my Lakers played on Saturday night, playing against the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets, probably supposed to be one of the best teams in the league, gave away two of their better defensive players. They're going to miss Trevor Ariza more than they realize it. And they were playing my quote-unquote lowly Lakers, who everybody keeps disrespecting like they can't never get no better. So scrap broke out. Rondo and Chris Paul. I will say my favorite part of the entire fight was the beginning of the fight when Chris Paul crossed his arms and leaned back a little bit like a G. Like, I wish you would.
And Rondo did.
I'm listening. And next thing you know, because, if you didn't see the replay live when they showed it, it just looked like, Chris Paul just put his finger all up in Rondo's face. Like, I'm finna sun you right now. And Rondo was like, I ain't having it. So he went for the two-piece. He connected with one, and Chris Paul was, like, surprised. He didn't think anybody would hit him.
Oh, he got him back,
I
though,
think
man.
He connected with both of them.
Yeah, he got him back, though.
Rondo did? No, he missed on the second one.
No, Paul did.
Paul hit him on an uppercut. I saw that.
Yeah, Paul got, man. It was a couple of good little blows in there, man. It was the best NBA fight that I can remember in a long time, and I miss those days, man. I used to love that stuff, man. It sucks that we don't have that anymore.
You definitely can't cross your arms and lean back like that and then get stolen. You got to be ready. But
right.
What'd you think about that fight, Ishmael? You the fight expert.
It was a nice scrap. Like you said, Chris Paul put his finger all up in Rondo's eye, and apparently he was mad because he thought Rondo spit on him, which I guess there was some spit that came out. It's hard to tell.
Or sweat.
Yeah, it's hard to tell whether he tried to spit or whether it was just sweat and he's kind of blowing it off. He didn't look like he was trying to hawk that loogie. Like when you try to spit on somebody, like you go in first. Right. You try to pull it from deep within your nasal cavity. Right. He didn't do that. He just kind of blew it.
That's straight disrespectful.
So I felt like it was just that sweat rolling down his face, and he just kind of blew it. But either way, Chris Paul, I don't know why you react to that by trying to poke out somebody's eye.
Right. If you thought he spit, you should be stealing on somebody, right?
Exactly.
Then he should have got the two-piece.
Yeah, he put the finger in the face. Rondo came with that left hook, bow, good connection. Yes. I think Rondo connected on the second punch, too. It wasn't clean because LeBron was, wrapped all the way around Chris Paul. Trying to hug his mans. Don't hurt my friend. Right. We got the banana boat to get on. And, but at the same time, then Rondo was getting pulled back by the referee, and Chris Paul landed that shot, which that,
I didn't see that.
Look at the freeze frame. Okay. If you look at the freeze frame, I mean, it's square right in the nose.
Yeah.
But that don't really count because the referee had him.
Yeah, but LeBron had Chris Paul too, at least after the first one.
I guess.
So when you look at it, it almost looks like you could almost say it's a tie because if you look at the connections, like I said, Chris Paul, you can't see it in fast motion, but when you see the freeze frame, it's a nice shot. But the reason Chris Paul took the L, I'm going to tell you, when you look at the shot, the first shot Rondo landed, look at Chris Paul's face.
Yeah.
That's meme for life. When you getting punched and you like, you lose. Rondo took that punch like a G. CP3, not so much.
My thing is that these two dudes, like, they both just so, I'm not saying unlikable, but like, Rondo's dirty and Chris Paul is, let's be real, he's Chris kind of dirty and he's kind of a flopper. Yeah. So like, could I see Rondo spitting on dude? Yes. Could I also see Chris Paul like just a little bit of spittle get on the man's face, like accidental, and Chris Paul blowing it way out of proportion just so he can mush the dude in the face? Yes, I could definitely see that. So it's like, man, I don't know who to trust in this situation. But the fight was smooth. Yo, did y'all see the dude from the Red Hot Chili Peppers get ejected after that? Did you see that part though?
I saw Floyd standing up, amped up.
Yeah, you saw Floyd like a little school kid, he was like yeah. But like watch the video, like Google or put in Twitter, like put in Red Hot Chili Peppers, and so the main dude from Red Hot Chili Peppers, he's on the court side, and like when he starts mouthing off at Chris Paul as Chris Paul's walking off the court. I guess he's a big Laker fan. And so he's like, he's trying to get at Chris Paul, which is crazy. And Chris Paul's kind of saying something back to him, but he's just kind of moving past. But then like he starts putting up the middle finger at Chris Paul, and then to the entire Rockets bench, and so they ejected that man too. So like that was a part that didn't even get reported on. I was like, man, that's so wild. Dudes just getting ejected for nothing out here.
Yeah, you can't do that no more. They really cracked down on that stuff because they said the crowd is provoking the players, so they don't want that to happen.
Yeah, it's kind of weak. But dude was legit trying to. It seemed like he was trying to come at Chris Paul, at least get in his face. And I'm like, dude, I was like, I mean, okay, you're a rock star, but like, man, this dude will kill you. I don't care.
Right. NBA players fighting other NBA players. Okay, those are two great athletes, but this world class athlete fighting this
50-year-old former heroin addict, former heroin addict. No, it's not going to work out for you.
You don't have a chance.
I'm gonna go a different route on that. Now, do they have you in size, speed, and strength? Yes, but every category that usually matters in a fight. But
crackhead
these dudes in the NBA really be acting like they got hands. You ain't never been in a fight, dog. You ain't never been in a fight because you always been coddled. You most likely like LeBron. Y'all been rich since you was 18, 19 years old. You ain't been in no fights, man. Like you can relax with that. Like you ain't really scaring nobody. They just used to being the big person. And then when you're the biggest person, you definitely ain't fighting. So I'm going to say some street cats can definitely
that's your boy Ingram right there. That's the one who's
Ingram. He's the one kicked it off.
Talk about Ingram.
He kicked it all off.
That's my boy right there now. Because now he got a little bit of credit with me just because, one, I don't know if he was having a bad day. I don't know if it was just because of the game. He was like, hey, I ain't getting no shots out here. You know, LeBron ain't passing to me. We running plays for JaVale McGee. What's going on here? Maybe he was pissed off at Luke Walton, like I was. Like, why don't you run some plays for BI? But
why are you looking at Luke Walton for plays? You need to look at LeBron. He's the one calling the plays, man.
Nah, he ain't. We already was running them sets before LeBron got there. So he pushes. So Harden, which has been bowling him over all game, or bowling everybody over. That's just how they play, and they get them foul calls. So Brandon Ingram was just tired of it, man, and he probably was talking too. And so he pushed him, and it wasn't no soft push either. He shoved the dude. What you gonna do? You know, of course, Harden didn't do nothing back because you ain't a real G. You're not finna actually
Harden
step to
don't
nobody.
never do nothing back. People
he
be pushing Harden.
Right.
He don't never do nothing. He just be looking at him like, why'd you do that for?
Right, what should I do now? Like, that dude never been in a fight, man. So
man, Harden just trying to score. He trying to score buckets. He ain't trying to play no defense. He ain't trying to fight with nobody. He ain't trying to do nothing like that. Just score buckets. That's it, man.
And then Brandon Ingram proves when the chips are down. Rondo's out here scrapping. Chris Paul's scrapping. Everybody's in a scram. What do you call it? Scrum. B.I. is like, hey, I see a nigga. I'm about to knock somebody out. So he comes running in the picture with the long go gadget arms, and he just took a swing. Who was he trying to hit?
He trying to hit CP3.
Anybody?
Was it CP? I'm not sure because I heard some people talking about it might have been Eric. What's his name? Gordon.
I think he was trying to hit Chris Paul, but it reminded me a lot of that Jermaine O'Neal, running, slide, and punch that he did back at the Malice in the Palace.
Yeah, that's the greatest Falcon punch of all time. Yo, but man, on Ingram, man, this dude, hey, you got to get your man, Ryan, because the dude, he, first of all, he cannot be swinging on anybody until he can bench press his own body weight, and this dude does not look like he can bench press his own body weight, so he cannot be out here swinging on these dudes. I don't care if James Harden kind of looks fat and out of shape. James Harden will wash him straight up.
What you forget, Paul, is that he only weighs 120, so yes, he can bench 120. He's good now. He's good now.
Man, that man's chest. Look, man. Kevin Garnett has no type of chest, and Kevin Garnett kind of tries to get up on these dudes and try to get physical, knowing that ain't nobody gonna fight. But man, this dude, that was what he was doing was wild, man. He just out there swinging, reckless. Third game of the season, second game of the season, whatever it was, man. Get him out of here, man.
Yeah, I like it.
You think just because he got the Pusher T braids, he's tough, man? I don't think so, man. He killed out there.
Yo, I was surprised at Lance Stevenson. He was kind of like Harden, where he was just looking around like what do I do here? Like, I'm normally the tough guy, but ain't nobody really trying to step to me. So he looked like he was entertained by the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, if you really think about it, man, like it's the same thing that I just said. These dudes don't never get in no fights. Everybody in the NBA know that they some fake tough dudes. Ain't too many. Ain't no more Steven Jacksons no more. Those dudes is gone.
I don't know. Patrick Beverly, man. Patrick Beverly fight you for anything out there, man. Just wait.
Maybe.
I think Draymond will scrap with you too.
Oh yeah, man. Let somebody come at Steph Curry like that, man. Draymond will just drop kick you in the back of the head immediately.
But we all know Draymond wouldn't step to a Steven Jackson type dude. You good at talking that smack to dudes you know ain't finna do nothing. And most of the dudes in the NBA not finna do nothing. So when it's a fight breaking out, I don't think nobody takes them seriously. Just like these dudes just puffing their chest out, they're not really finna do nothing.
We need to come up with a list of the NBA, the dudes currently in the NBA that we think are about that life. I definitely put Patrick Beverly at the top of that list. Tony Allen, if he's still hanging out in the league, I think he's still collecting a paycheck somewhere. He definitely is on that list.
Hey, if you don't play, you can't be on the list.
Marcus Smart, I got Marcus Smart on that list too, man. Put him down there.
Yeah.
What else, man? So what do y'all think about the rest of the everything else, man? Like, any teams look good to you, bad to you, players? What you see?
Everybody looks bad on defense. The defense is trash.
Yeah, because everybody giving up about 130 right now a game.
Yeah. Right, which is crazy. And part of that is teams are shooting more threes. The players are getting a lot better at shooting three-pointers. But part of that is they open half the time. Yeah, they wide open half the time.
But no, check
nobody's
this.
Playing defense.
This is what the problem is that everybody's chasing everybody off the three, so everybody's giving up a ridiculous amount of layups. So you got higher volume on the threes and people chasing you off the three. So that just means that people just getting layups where they normally wouldn't get it. And there's no centers down there.
Okay, so generally do y'all roll with them? Y'all like the new style of the NBA or what I guess I sound like y'all a little mixed on this. Y'all
I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting to watch, but at the same time it's just like it's ridiculous because there's just no defense. Like every bucket is an easy bucket. You don't see people really having to fight to try to score. It's just I'm wide open, or let me pump fake like Ryan said. He's gonna fly by me, and I'm gonna do this. So I just want to see people trying on defense. Back in the day, and I don't want to sound like that old dude like back in the day, but I mean it really was. The game was built more around defense, or at least you just got to see more defense. It's really I've been watching NBA games just like Ryan, just every single day. And all these scores, 130, 140, and it's just like eventually it's going to mess up the stats because everybody going to be averaging 30 and 15 and 9.
Right.
Yeah, I mean.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all because everybody ain't Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, man. Everybody can't do it. Now, if you got range like that and you can come down and pull on a fast break, but it's so many dudes shooting below 40%, 35% shooters, 30% shooters, stepping into threes. What you doing?
But they're knocking them down, though.
They're not knocking them down. They're not. They're shooting them. They're not knocking them down, but the coaches are telling them to shoot them anyway. I don't want you shooting.
Ball put him for 6 3-pointers in a game. Like, why?
Hey, if they open, shoot them. But if it's not open, why are you shooting it? And that's the problem, is that people are just pulling with people in their face from 35 feet. I need you to relax.
Hey.
I think it'll get better after. Usually, man, I think this is how it is every year, man. The NBA, like, the season's just so long, man, and so like nobody's really like people are checking for like the real NBA heads like you guys, me, you know. But like, I don't think it really gets. I don't really consider the NBA season really getting going until after Christmas. Once Christmas Day, that's when the real season starts. I think it'll get a little bit more intense then on the defense. I think until then, it's just they just running and gunning, man. It's kind of an agreed to thing. Like, hey, we're just gonna put up points and we'll play a little hard in the fourth quarter maybe, but let's just make it to Christmas and then that's the real season. That's my personal take on it.
They call it mid-season form for a reason. So it takes a little while to get everything clicking and new squads and new players on there. So I don't really fault them. You know, you're gonna miss some shots at the beginning of the year. My sleeper team is going to be the Phoenix Suns.
Oh,
it's a good team. Good team to watch, man. If you want to watch a good game, watch the Phoenix Suns, man. It's fun. Ayton down there. Ayton is hooping. Ayton is hooping. Booker is hooping. Trevor Ariza there now, so it's not like a whole bunch of crap at the three. It's a nice team to watch, man. Check it out. Right now, Isaiah Cannon. That dude finally got a squad because they don't have a point guard on their team. So he's getting some run and he hooping.
I'm checking for Denver, man. I think they're 3-0 right now. So I mean, they got that lucky the other night. So I kind of want to see what they're doing right now. Of course, my Grizzlies. I know they're not going to do too much, but if dudes can just stay healthy, man, maybe we can fight for a playoff spot. Maybe if dudes can just stay healthy, that's my main thing.
It'd be nice if me and Ish could even speak on the Memphis Grizzlies because we have a blackout here in St. Louis. Can't watch Grizzly games or Pacer games apparently because they're 4 hours away, and maybe we should go to the game. Is that what they want us to do?
Yeah, NBA blackout rules are trash.
Yeah, it's trash. I'm paying money to see all the games, not missing four teams playing every night.
Oh, so League Pass blocks it out no matter what?
Yes, no matter what. I tried to use a VPN, but it's based on your zip code that you put in for your payment.
Can't you? Oh, you can't do like a VPN. Oh, okay. So you got to do it. So you got to set the VPN ahead of time. Okay.
I don't even think you could do that.
Let's see who's the most trash team in the NBA.
Yeah, I want to set my zip code to
maybe
that.
next year I'm gonna set my zip code for like Hawaii. I'm gonna be like I'm in Honolulu.
Right. That's the only thing you could do probably. And then they might black out Lakers games or something.
All right.
So I don't know.
So, all right. That's enough sports for now.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
Go all day on that.
Speaking of fake tough guys, let's move on to HBO's The Shop. Paul said he got a chance to look at a little bit of it. Ishmael did not, but we can still talk about it anyway. HBO The Shop.
I saw a few little clips on it, but that's it.
Okay. That's a LeBron James barbershop talk show. They started off with just the typical talk, about happenings in the world and all of this. And then next thing you know, Drizzy Drake walks in. And he's like, "Oh, sorry, guys, I'm late." And that's exactly how he said it. "Sorry, guys, I'm late. There was traffic." So he walked in, and Bron gave him the chance to spew his venom about the situation with he and Pusha T.
Push. Ugh.
So, Paul, I'm going to let you talk a little bit on this.
Oh, shit.
Before I come back in. How much of that did you see?
I only saw like the highlights. I didn't watch the whole thing. And when I saw that, I was like, "No way, I'm watching this." I'm off that shop, man. It's not bad, but it's like unless it's somebody really really compelling, I'm not gonna watch it. And I just didn't want to hear about rap beef. Especially rap beef these days. I could care less, man. So like I saw the highlights. Both these dudes. I don't know what the real story. It does get more interesting with each like little additional layer they keep adding on to it. Yes. So I was interested in that, but. It's just a whole lot of messiness, and I'm just not that invested, man. I could care less, to be honest.
So let me come back in then. So this is the interesting thing that I saw about it is that Drake is the Teflon Don, similar to LeBron, because they both move the exact same way, where they go out of their way to make sure that they write their own narrative. I can respect it. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, I don't really like it. Like, I see what you're doing out here, Drake. I see what you're doing, trying to paint yourself as the victim in this rap beef. But dog, he handed it to you. That's all. But he tried to tell the whole story, and Bron gave him the platform to do so. Maverick Carter is giving him these little soft questions,
softballs, just
like
softballs.
How did you feel about this when he said that? Did you think that was fair? And blah blah blah. Come on, man. Like, no, it's rap. It ain't never fair.
My thing was like I'm sure most of what Drake was saying was true, but of course he's like you said, he's trying to spin a narrative. The part that I thought was insane was when he was saying like how Kanye was inviting him out to Wyoming, and I guess his homie was already out there, and he got it, and the homie called him and was like, "Hey, yo, man, something's off out here. I don't know what, something's off, blah blah." And then Drake still went out there and sat out there for days, weeks at a time helping out. I was like, why, man? Why would you do that?
Blamed it all on Kanye. But the crazy part was Drake turned into the fake gentleman again. He's like, "You know what, Bron? I didn't want to disappoint you with a response because I knew where I would have to take that. And he painted me in a corner, and I ain't had no choice. But Bron, all I could think of is I ain't want to disappoint you, man." And Bron's like, "You know what I told him? You could never disappoint me." Stop it. Stop it. That's soft, man. Don't tell that man that. You should have told him, "Yeah, you need to respond because he punched you in the eye." You ain't got no
like
choice.
A BET Her movie.
Exactly. But Ryan, did you see so I know you heard a little bit of the Budden podcast, not the whole thing, but I listened to the whole Budden podcast with Pusha T. Did you hear the rebuttal to that? Any of that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got that far because he talked about where he got the information from. Yeah, and all that.
What'd you think about it? What'd you think about it?
Yo,
who was more believable?
I always side with the real. Well, I can't keep. I'm gonna use up my N-word quota. I side with the real dudes, and I trust anything out of Push him out because he ain't got no reason to lie about it, man. He not getting nothing out of this. He just like, look, I handed it to you. Your man gave me the information, 40.
Yeah.
And so, he lit him up.
I generally agree with you. I think the one thing, I think he was trying to protect Kanye. Kanye's got to be involved in all this some kind of way. Maybe not to the extent that Drake was saying, but some of it, I don't necessarily believe all the stuff about some girl that the dude 40 was.
Why don't you believe it?
That's
real. That's real. That happens.
I think there's probably some truth to the whole Kanye being involved with it. It's just all weird, man. But yeah, the interview was definitely dope. I thought he kept it real. I mean, the dude was literally playing audio recordings of a chick.
Oh, I didn't even get to that part yet, but that's funny.
Oh yeah, so Pusha T, he's
Drake said he put 100,000 out for any information on Push.
He must have because so there's this lady, and I guess she works for Adidas or worked in some kind of capacity with Adidas, and Pusha T. He had a relationship with Adidas. I think he still does because of Kanye and stuff like that. So this lady worked at Adidas or with him at Adidas, so he knows her well. And I guess she was calling around to his homeboys or back around to Virginia, trying to get dirt on him and basically offering him money. And so one of these dudes, I guess it used to be like his DJ for Pusha T or some other just dudes that he kind of had beef with back in the day. They basically offering them up, money for any information they can give to her, and she's gonna pass that back to Drake. And so these dudes got it on tape. This chick asking these dudes about the stuff like this, and so like, man, it's wild. That's just like wild. Like you never hear. I mean, you kind of hear about this stuff going on or what? Like nobody just to bring the receipts like that.
We really got everything. Yeah. That's crazy.
But the other interesting
Push said that a while ago. He's like that Drake put that money out there, and he's like, I don't care. He's like, I live open. Right. I'm an open life. I'm an open book. I don't have secrets like that. So any dirt I did, it's already out there. So
yeah. The one other thing I thought was interesting was he was talking about when Pusha was talking about the dude. What's the dude from Houston? The rap producer.
I forget his name, but I know you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the one that was supposed to squash the beef.
Yeah.
But Pusha T was like, he didn't have nothing to do with that. Basically, Pusha T was like, the dude had a book coming out and just kind of used that as like, use that story to leverage his book sales for the week or whatever like that. That's just kind of, and that's at least kind of how it came across to me with what he said.
I didn't even get it.
Yeah, Jay Prince. Yeah, right, Jay Prince. That's what he said. He was like, man, he's like, my manager talked to him one time, but like, he's like, squashing the beef. Like, I don't know, he just kind of, he didn't really get too deep in it, but it just made it seem like, at least the way I heard it, was like, that dude really wasn't involved at all. He just had a book coming out, just happened to be that same week. So he just started going around saying, he called around to squash it and stuff like that, on an OG call, and it wasn't like that. So that was interesting too, because that was the narrative we kept hearing, right?
Yeah.
Who said that? Push said that?
Push said that.
Push said that.
Yeah, I think Jay Prince's involvement was more with Drake because I guess Drake is, I guess like a mentee or whatever. Drake is up under him somehow. So I think he did tell Drake, like, look, don't even go there. I think it was more so because he felt like Drake was going to take that L. So I think it's more kind of like protecting your investment.
Right. Yeah. He told him it was going to end somebody's career. And all this
it's going to be yours.
And it was probably going to be Drake, right? And I will say, Jay Prince is one of those dudes that he just got respect in the game. Like people, you know how Suge Knight, people used to be scared of Suge Knight back in the day. Like folks in the industry are straight scared of Jay Prince. Like when he says stuff, they just do it. So he got to be about that life on in some aspect. Right. But I think that was more. I don't think it was like brokering a peace treaty. I think he just told Drake, don't respond. And Drake didn't, and then the beef just died.
Right, you most likely to get shot, not him.
It's interesting, but it seems like now things are going back and forth. So I don't know, man. There might be
but Drake was talking on the shop like he was about to do something, And LeBron kind of hyped it up. He was like, yeah, I love that line you put in there. And he was like, yeah, get rid of them niggas. Like, come on, bro. Like, he ain't finna get rid of nobody.
Yo, man, I'm just waiting. 6 months from now, they'll be doing it. They'll release a single together, man. It'll be something like that. We squashed it, blah blah. I'm here for that.
That's never gonna happen.
I believe it. I believe it's gonna happen.
Push ain't about to let that go.
Nah, I don't think Push really got a lot of personal beef with it. Push was like, yo, this about records.
This rap stuff. Yeah,
I'm gonna destroy him on the record. So I don't think Push really got no hard feelings. I think Drake the one that got hard feelings about. He's salty about it. Yeah. He and his feelings.
Well, it's his first time he lost, man. So I mean, yeah,
it's the first time he didn't lost, man. It's the first time it's been acknowledged. But just because you don't respond to somebody don't mean you lost, that you won.
Which other battles he really lost at? I mean, he won
Joe ate him up.
Yeah, but nobody cared about Joe.
It don't matter. I don't want to hear that no more than people saying that nobody cares. Like, it don't matter. He ate you up. It is what it is.
You can not respond
if you want to.
But to his fans, this is the first time his fans have had to face the possibility that he actually might have lost something. The rest of the times they could dismiss it as, oh, that's just some nobody or has been, blah blah, which is what they do with Joe. So this is the first time he's had to actually realize that his fan base, that he took a loss, I think.
Yeah, you probably could say fan base, but rappers know you took a L twice. Yeah. But that's it on that one. Just thought it was interesting. Good story. I will finish that podcast probably tomorrow.
Oh, it's definitely dope, man.
So what are we looking at? We looking on time. Yeah, we had about 52 minutes. 52 minutes. We a little behind. Talked a little long, but that's okay. I enjoyed the conversation. So which one of these stories y'all want to do? You want to do the old Irish dude, or you want to do the floor collapse at Clemson?
I say the floor collapse. We can save the other one because I think that's an interesting story, the flight one. But we can do that next week. It's not necessarily timely.
Okay. All right. Floor collapses at the Clemson party, dancing to Chief Keef.
Yep.
Paul, this is your story. What you got?
All I got is, man, party at off campus,
just to laugh.
Apartment complex.
Right. That's hilarious. He was just like he was trolling us this whole time, man. He put that on there, and then he was like, "I'm gonna hang up as soon as we get to my story."
It was all black party, all black people party. For some reason, they were on the second floor or whatever like that. I guess in the clubhouse.
What is he still talking right now?
So they're playing the loud music. They got the video going. You probably saw this, man. They're playing Chief Keef. I don't know the name of the song.
So maybe he fell through the floor. Maybe he was getting too high.
And it collapses.
He started laughing too hard. And he just fell through the floor.
Thankfully, nobody was injured or severely injured. Thankfully, there was nobody in the basement. That's the real amazing thing out of this whole thing.
Like, what y'all think? Huh?
Right.
Oh, you can hear me, man?
Chief Keef.
Ryan?
Well, so what do you want to do?
I guess we can talk about this story. We'll just keep talking, and we'll come back. So I did see this story this morning. I didn't read the story, so I don't know in depth, but I did see it this morning on whatever my wife was watching, the Today Show. And there were way too many kids jumping up and down on this floor. Now, Clemson I don't know where they were. Huh?
Clemson University.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know like what type of building this was or if this was created for such a party atmosphere, but it just looked like it was way too many people in there.
Yeah, it was an apartment clubhouse. So you know how when you go to these
okay.
Yeah. Are you still recording?
Yeah, I'm still recording. Okay. I don't have a Skype.
Okay. So yeah, it was a college clubhouse, and so you know, when you go to these apartments, there's usually an area where you can reserve or you can just kind of lounge or chill, or they might have a pool table or whatever. So this is the vibe that I'm getting. I haven't seen it, but I'm just guessing it's just a clubhouse area where you can rent it out, and they just up there just turning up, just getting crunk. Everybody, I don't know, 100 people or 50, 75 people jumping up and down at the same time to the Chief Keef song, which can't be a good idea.
Right.
Not at a clubhouse. This, like you said, this ain't a party hall. This ain't an auditorium. This is somebody's residential apartment.
Right.
So, Paul, since you back, we'll let you take it from there.
Yo, man, it's just wild. Yeah, why would you do that in that apartment complex, all them people. Thank God nobody was underneath in that basement, man, when that thing collapsed. 'Cause that would have been a real tragedy, man. That's the amazing thing, that nobody was down there in that basement and got killed. And it sounds like there wasn't that many major injuries, man. I'm sure people were definitely scared, maybe a few broken bones here and there, but
yeah,
overall,
there
man,
some broken bones and, mainly lacerations and broken bones.
I see it says that it says that you could hear the floor about to go through, kind of, but nobody thought it was going to happen. They just kept going.
Right.
So were they trying to do this?
I don't think they were trying to do it. I think it's just you got a bunch of college kids. They drunk. They turned up, and one guy said he told his friends, like, yo, we need to get out. Let's go out on the balcony, because he felt the floor giving in. But he said the floor just caved before they got a chance. But I think he was the only one that fell. I think his friends were like on the outside. They weren't jumping. But this dude ended up getting like 5 stitches on his leg. And I don't know how far that drop was. I guess ceilings are usually about
at least 10 feet.
10, 12
probably
feet.
10 feet.
Probably more than that.
Add a
for
couple
basement
for the
like that.
floor. Yeah,
Yeah.
so they probably fell, maybe 15 feet.
That's wild, man. What's the wildest thing y'all ever seen at a house party? Nothing like this, I'm sure, but y'all ever seen anything wild?
Ishmael, you got to go on this one.
I think the craziest thing I saw, and I don't know, maybe this was a house party. I think it was either a house party or it was like a frat party. But when I was down in Mizzou, I remember me and my it was like a keg party. And so, they got kegs in the backyard. They got some kegs in the house. Everybody just getting toe up or whatever. So me and my partners are outside in the backyard. We just sitting here talking or whatever. And all of a sudden, I saw this guy, this white guy, frat boy. I mean, he just walked by us, and he was just real pissed off. And he walked by, and he grabbed this trash can. This is like the Oscar the Grouch trash can, the old metal one, circle with the lid. So he grabbed the lid off the trash can, and then he starts walking back towards where he just came from. So I'm like, man, look at this. Why this dude got this trash can? And he's over by the keg, and apparently, I don't know, there was an argument about a cup. This dude thought it was his cup. He said it was his cup. When you go to these keg parties, it's like $5 for a cup, and then you just drink, whatever for the rest of the night. So apparently it was an argument about a cup, and this dude walked over to the guy and banged him in the head with the top of this aluminum trash can, or this metal trash can. And it was loud. It was just like, bong! And everybody outside stopped and looked like, whoa, like, what is that? And we watched the whole thing happen. So that's probably the craziest thing I saw. It was hilarious, though.
Crazy.
What about you, Paul?
I got nothing. I'm sober enough to remember. I'm sure there's some good ones. I got to think about this. Oh man, go ahead, Ryan. Let's take it out of here, man.
I ain't got one. So that's it. That's it for me.
Whack.
Hey man, I wasn't at a whole bunch of parties, man. Paul came front. We was at home playing Madden.
I was too poor. I couldn't afford the $5 cup most of the time. But when I went, I had fun, man. But yeah, I saw a few fights in some of those little frat parties in college, in high school, man. Those are just ghetto parties, man. Those are all ghetto parties I went to in high school, man. Just trying to hump on something.
I think I told y'all before, but whenever I went down to spring break, I was headed towards spring break. We weren't even there yet in South Padre, but we were in San Antonio, I think. We had stopped, and we were actually at a club. It wasn't a house party, but it was at a club, and we're in line to get in the club, and we see the bouncers throw this guy out. I guess he was drunk or tripping or whatever. They end up throwing him out, and the guy's arguing, a little bitty short guy. He's arguing with the bouncer, whoop-de-whoop. The bouncer's like, what's up? Guy's like, I'm going to beat you, yada, yada. All of a sudden, the dude who got thrown out pulls this little pistol out of his, I don't know if it was out of his shoe, I think. Like, pulled a little pistol out of his shoe and was like, what's up? And the bouncer's like, what you going to do with that? And it was like a little bitty gun. It had to be a 22 or something even smaller. And so when the gun came out, everybody else run and they hide behind like the pillars of this building. And I'm sitting up here like just standing there looking like, man, look at that little bitty gun. I'm like, how do you get a gun that little? And the bouncer was still talking stuff. And my partner came and grabbed me like, man, what are you doing? He got a gun. And I guess maybe that's just from being in the hood and have seen guns or whatever. But I was just more amazed at the tiny size of this gun. And the guy ended up shooting like at the ground. He shot one round at the ground because the bouncer was still talking stuff while he had the gun. So he shot like towards his foot and then ended up leaving, and they called the police.
Yo, guess what? You could still get shot with a little bitty gun.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember a few times
moral
down
of the
there.
story.
Yeah, I remember a few times down there in Memphis, man, like down there on Beale Street. I fortunately nothing ever happened to me, man, but I definitely seen a dude pull a knife on another dude just right there in front of me. That was kind of wild, like just seeing that in person. And then another time I went down there, we went down there in May, and that's like always like the craziest time to go down there because it's always, it's warm. Girls ain't dressing, ain't wearing too much, so everybody's just out there, man. And the dorm I was staying in, we had some international student, this dude from Germany, and then he had a bunch of other friends, were all other international students. They all wanted to go downtown because school had just ended. We all finished our exams. And so I'm just kicking in. We were all like, okay, let's go downtown. We're gonna go down to Beale Street, and they had never really been before. And I was like, okay, look, if it gets crazy, just and you hear anything, just if the crowd starts running, you start running. And so I was mentioning this to like some of the girls who were like that, and we go down there. We're having a good time, and then invariably like around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, just I don't you know how you're in the crowd and like you don't really hear nothing, but you just see people everybody just kind of gets quiet and is looking one way, and then you just start taking off, and so like man, everybody just started running. And I was like, oh, yeah, we got to go. And so we were running because, and it's just, and you, Ryan, you've been out there. Well, Ish, you've been out there too, man, on Beale Street. You know how it is. It's really just 2 little blocks. It ain't very big. And so there's it's basically like, man, it can take you minutes just to get from one side of that street to the other side of the street because you're just trying to fight through bodies trying to get through there. And everybody going in like 1 or 2 directions, man. It was crazy. So out there, and we just ran to the car and got up out of there, man. So we don't even know. I think shots were fired like down the one side of it. But man, yeah, just being out there like that, just making sure you don't get ran over, stomped over.
That one far end of Beale Street always seemed dark and shady down there.
That's because that's the dark and shady side.
But every time you go down there, it just seemed dark and shady down there. You just be like, yeah, we need to get off down here.
And after you left, man, they put some clubs over there, and there's some nice clubs over there, man. But yeah, every time there was like always a shooting. I think they shut the club down maybe a couple times. It's just always right there, man. Always a shooting at that little club that used to be at the other end of Beale Street. For whatever reason, man, it's just that's like the hood side. There's like the white side, and there's kind of the hood side, man. And people just know like, hey, you go down here, stuff could pop off, so be ready. And that's just how it is, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, we might have to have a segment about survive shootouts or something because for some reason I've been around way too many people shooting and not at me, but yeah, we may have to recount some of those stories.
We're gonna get to that one as soon as we get the Mexico stories. For sure.
Maybe that happened in Mexico. You never know.
I wouldn't doubt it. Oh,
you never know.
We know issues with the cartels moving a major weight. We know.
Right. We'll put it on the agenda. All right. So we've reached the end of our episode. I enjoyed it. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. We really was just talking this time, so that's cool. If you liked it more than usual, let us know. Maybe we need to cut back on the news and just increase the banter, or the other way around. Let us know. Where can they find us, Ishmael, if they would like to contact us or rate or review us?
You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Black Delegates. There's an _ between Black and Delegates. If you want to follow Paul on Twitter, he is at Boxed Wine Poppy. You want to follow Ryan, he is at The Black Ryan. You can follow me on IG or Twitter at Ish Creates. That's ISH Creates. Also, hit us up on Facebook, Black Delegates Pod, or you can email us at theblackdelegatespod@gmail.com. Paul, yes. If people want to help us out, what can they do?
Man, rate us and review us on whatever app you're using to listen to your podcast, and most of all, tell a friend. That's how we build this thing.
Yep, preferably Apple Podcasts, because y'all know that's the big dog. So we need as many reviews on there as possible. All right. So with that being said, nothing else will hold our attention.
Nope. We out.
We out.
Bye.